Made in China. For years, these words were at the bottom of our toys, on the labels of our clothes, in the back of our electronics, and always meant the same thing. Don't cry if it breaks, since buying a new one would be cheaper than fixing it. One thing I never stayed on was cars. That's because the Chinese car market was basically non-existing up until a decade or so ago, relying only on cheap knocks-off of much bigger, more important brands. But now, Chinese cars are slowly creeping into all markets, one way or another. Remember MG? That's Chinese now. Volvo? Owned by a Chinese car group. What about Xiaomi, producing everything your mind can think of? I'm sure you saw the SU7, its quirks and features by now. Completely different story for Hong Kong. The special administrative region is known for its vibrant car scene, filled to the brim with everything you can think of. Supercars, Teslas, tuners, tricked-out vans, all that and a bag of chips. But how come? Why such differences between a city and an entire country? Well, let me tell you something. It's quite the story. It has to do with NEVs, influences, economics, and a whole lot of politics. This is the Italian with the Hawaiian, DB, and in today's video, we're gonna take a look at two different car markets, Hong Kong and mainland China. Before the 1990s, the only vehicles manufactured in China were government, military, or industrial ones. Private ownership was extremely rare, so Chinese people didn't grow up with an identity or love for cars, relying mostly on bikes to go around. But China was an industrial powerhouse, building everything the world needed, and became the leader of exporting goods, a record that they're still holding extremely close. And with earnings comes growth, investments, emigration towards bigger cities, expanding those cities to the point where they simply become megalopolis. What comes afterwards? But cars, of course. And here's the catch. China is very open to exporting everything, but imports almost nothing. In order to sell into mainland China, the rule goes like this. Foreign automakers must partner with Chinese firms to sell locally. And that is an inhumanly big market for manufacturers to jump into. And if the price to pay is to have their cars built locally within China, so be it.
I gotta do it, man.
Dude. What are you doing? Ah, screw it.
生意兴隆。
All I'm saying.
During this time, we have a few major key players. Volkswagen with their insanely popular Jetta and Santana, BMW and Mercedes, very popular within the higher class, General Motors and especially Buick and Cadillac, who were seen as a pinnacle of luxury, Toyota, Nissan, Honda, ever present in the cheap and reliable car market. So if you saw a foreign brand in China during this time, you can bet that it was built within China itself. At this stage, there are some Chinese brands to take into account, but they mostly provided labor, logistic, factories, junior partners, some might call them. Some examples are SAIC, FAW, Dongfeng and BAIC. If you never heard of them, then we're on the same boat. This is how the Chinese car market got started, but in Hong Kong it was a completely different story. To understand how the Hong Kong car market came to be, we have to take a step back by 100 years, in the mid-1800s or the Qing dynasty. To keep it nice and simple, the British Empire attacked China after a tightening of opium selling by the Chinese Empire, also known as the First Opium War. Drugs are bad, kids. China was forced into signing the Nanking Treaty, which allowed the British Empire and Europe to have access to a lot of important ports all over the Chinese coastline, and the leasing of the Hong Kong island, which would be then turned into a British colony with the creation of Victoria City. After the Second Opium War and the Peking Convention, the territories of Kowloon Peninsula were added. At the end of the century, with the Second Peking Convention, the new territories were added in, and this is the Hong Kong we know today. So yeah, Hong Kong was the debt to pay up some drug money problem.
Where's the money, Lebowski? You want that money, Lebowski? Where's the fucking money, shithead?
It's down there somewhere. Let me take another look.
The Brits went pretty hard on developing the colony though. From a small island of barely 6,000 people, fishermen mostly, Hong Kong turned into a major hub in a matter of years, becoming 10 times bigger in terms of population as well, with brand new technologies popping in such as trams, trains, roads and obviously cars. Cars arrived in Hong Kong pretty much at the same time as they were getting popular in the rest of the modern world, so by the 1910s, which gave plenty of time to develop a presence, especially under British ruling and their passion for anything racing and engine related, like horse racing for instance. The British ruling is also the reason for a lot of iconic Hong Kong driving elements, such as right-hand drive, very specific license plates, and the overall energy of pragmatic elegance. The first brands to land in Hong Kong were the usual Brit suspect: Rover, MG, Austin, and eventually Jags and Rolls. Mostly though, they were either for official, police or businesses, not for the common folks. Thing is, Hong Kong was never envisioned as a proper city, but just as a colony, a gateway for commerce with the Chinese Empire. And given the limited space available, plus how expensive maintaining a car was, plus how there were and are many ways of getting around the city without owning a car, Hong Kong never developed a popular car industry. Still, this didn't stop the car market to expand and explode within the region. In the 80s, one very specific market managed to get a big foot through the door of Hong Kong, and that foot belongs to the Japanese market. Japanese cars from Toyota, Honda and Nissan, thanks to their reliability and fuel efficiency, struck gold within the region. Toyota, specifically, provided the iconic red and white taxi you still see today, with their Crown Comfort being an icon you see on every street, even if they're slowly fading out. I rode in one when I went there, super comfortable and filled with cool vibes. Being chauffeured around is the whole point of the car scene in Hong Kong. In a place where every inch has been built upon, space to drive is in the negative, fuel and parking spaces reach rent level, a car becomes the epitome of luxury. You don't just buy a car because you need it. You buy it to quietly say, look at me, I can afford this. So by the 80s, we have two different realities between mainland China and Hong Kong, yet also very similar. Both are dealing with intense urbanization, both don't have local car brands, both revolves around Japanese reliable machines and German high-end luxury. But on one side you have mainland China, forced to let others come into their backyards to sell cars, and learning in the process. Meanwhile, in Hong Kong, status over utility reigns supreme. By the 2000s though, new players and new realities will help reshape the scene once again.
Let the beat rock.
In the 2000s, the domestic Chinese car market was very rough, to say the least. Chinese brands were starting to pop up here and there, with some names getting some traction, but all their cars were cheap knockoff of well-established brands, with weak engines, terrible interiors, poor crash test results, and no emissions regulations. That was still the plan anyway, cheap cars made by the Chinese people for the Chinese people. While the world laughed at their efforts, Chinese manufacturers studied calmly and thoroughly, learning from their partners, imitating, expanding, investing, and patiently waiting, focusing on something else entirely. NEVs, or new energy vehicles. Everything from pure EVs to hybrid, PHEV. Their goal was tackling the future now, before everyone else. And in 2012, that bet paid off. Why? Not because the world was gonna end, but because a new kid appeared on the block, the Tesla Model S. The rules were about to be completely rewritten, all thanks to this one car. Tesla at the time was making waves in the automotive industry, and even more in the stock market, if you were vibing with that. Because up until that point, electric cars were mostly underperforming shoeboxes that were as uninteresting as watching paint dry, or as a Prius. But the Model S sealed the deal for what an EV can be, as a mid-size fast sedan with clean and minimalist lines, and its unique approach to driving, which you can love or hate, I won't judge. The Model S made some serious numbers in the sales department, and it wasn't going to be just a fluke, no matter how hard car manufacturers hoped for it. It did prove a crucially important point. Electric cars can be fun, can be cool, and you too, driver of said vehicle, can be considered fun, cool, hip, loaded, yet responsible for the environment. And you know who absolutely bought a metric ton of Tesla, including every following model? Hong Kongers. God, there are a ton of Tesla in Hong Kong. One in what, every 10 cars is a Tesla, and I'm not even kidding. It makes perfect sense when you think of it. It's cool, doesn't run on gas, the range is more than enough to go around town easily, and with a generous tax incentive, which has now been removed, it's no surprise that Teslas are everywhere in Hong Kong. It was the epitome of new money, and the new money did everything to them. Wraps, rims, dashboard plushes, you name it, someone in Hong Kong did it. Not only that, but Tesla also managed to go past the Great Wall, landed in China, and cut itself a nice quiet slice against the German rivals, the biggest market share to fend against. China and the world took notice. EVs were here to stay. You could either get on board or get left in the dust. And China was already on board, ready to kick down the ladder, with BYD launching its first plug-in hybrid vehicle in 2009. And it looked like this. But who the hell is BYD? So, while Tesla were selling like hotcakes all over the world, and said world kept getting dirtier with pollution and warmer because something carbon footprint, a term created by an oil company mind you, EV is the favorite buzzword of politicians, activists, and people all over the web. The writing is on the wall. The future is electric, and car manufacturers had to scramble to catch up with whatever new goal was set in mind by politicians, which are now all postponed, mind you. China, on the other hand, has been doing nothing but investing in EVs for the past decade or so, turning EVs into one of their top 10 priorities, dropping 230 billion into them.
Billions. With a B.
And it was already way far ahead than everyone else. Something to take into account, the push for EVs didn't come from the industry, but it came from the Chinese government itself, as a way to be more independent from oil and other car manufacturers. Less importing, more exporting. That's how the mafia works, or market works. This is the time where all the big names that you now see everywhere started to appear, with BYD being the tip of the spear for Chinese EVs. BYD is quite the story, but I'll keep it brief. They started as a battery company to provide high-quality batteries at a cheaper price, since China was also depending on Japan and South Korea for their batteries. Then they decided to go down onto the car business. No prior experience, just some cash to buy a struggling car manufacturer, and hopes and dreams. Get it? They decided to go all in, not just with cars, but also with electric buses to export all over the world, especially in Europe and US, who were on the hunt for these specific vehicles. In 2008, their first EV come rolling out of the factory, the F3DM. It was still equipped with a 1-liter 3-cylinder engine, and it had 2 electric motors. Overall, it had a range of 300 miles, of which only 37 were in full EV. And again, it looked like this. To us it looks sad. Even if for you and me doesn't look like much, someone else took a liking into it. Warren Get Rich or Die Trying Buffett. He saw, he evaluated, he bought, and he kept for 17 years. 17 years. And he was right. By 2023, BYD outsold Tesla in the EV market. This was quite the wave. But when you take into account the fact that their offering was much bigger than Tesla and beyond cars, you start to see how the scale was tipped in their favor. China also kicked stuff into gear even more in this period. Through the use of subsidies, car manufacturers, local government and consumers were all going to earn from the electrification of vehicles. Then, it was all-out war.
There's 30 seats on this plane and 100 in the airport. Sort it out yourselves.
The rules to survive were simple. The subsidy provides a lot of money early on, slowly but surely depleting over time. Basically, you receive a big carrot in the beginning, but you have to use every vitamin you can get to survive. From the manufacturer's side, the more cars you produce with specific specs, the more you'll get paid by the government. And they will also receive good boy points that forces manufacturers of ICE engines to buy the good boy points from the EV manufacturers in order to sell their cars in the Chinese market. And making numbers they did. Buses, taxis, fleet vehicles, vans, hell, building cars and letting them rot somewhere just to get the numbers right, all to get that sweet moolah. On the consumer side, they will receive a discount on the sticker price, plus an additional discount of $2,500 to scrap their old ICE car. License plates are easier to get. See all these green plates? Those are EVs, and they're way easier and cheaper to get than blue ones. plus the possibility of using better infrastructure such as bus-only lanes and reduced taxes. Basically, this is the economical version of having a gun pointed at the base of your skull and kindly asked to pick the washing machine with wheels you like the most. And the local governments have a piñata party as well. Support for building charging spots and battery swaps location, loans to producers and cheaper land to build on, priority fleets contracts, tax holidays. So every city and region wanted their own BYD, NIO, Great Wall, which created the hellish landscape that is the Chinese car market. These brands are expanding all over the world, iterating and evolving at a breaknecking speeds. Australia, Central and South America, now Europe, and obviously Asia. There is nowhere to hide from the juggernaut of the Chinese car market. I know what you're wondering. Aye, DP, that was all fun and games, but what about Hong Kong? Things are different there. EVs are still a very popular decision, such as Tesla, but other EV offers from luxury brands such as Porsche or Mercedes are also very attractive to the locals. This is the main difference. In China, it's all about how much car can I get out of my money, and it's not much different than buying a new fridge, washing machine or air fryer. Hell, your car could be made by the same guys that made your fridge, washing machine or air fryer. In Hong Kong, your car tells everything about you. The brand, specs, hell, which rims you put and how much you lower it, all part of you. It's like looking through a wormhole on the car industry, the past and the future. And we're right in the middle, yelling to stop. Hong Kong showed me individualism in one of its purest car forms. Cars and drivers are a mirror of each other, intertwined. It's the result of a very unique history, of exposure to a culture that redefined the city and the car culture itself. It's personal, it's bold, it's the past. China and its hyper-consumism showed me what an industry is capable of when it works like a machine. A cut corners, extremely cunning and pragmatic machine, but a machine nonetheless, spewing out the same soulless flavor in different sizes and colors. It's everywhere, it's cold, it's the future. And in the middle, us. Those that snap mid-conversation because a sound captures our hearing, and we need to know what is making our hair rise, our heart pump, our adrenaline kick in. We stop dead in our tracks to admire something that once filled our dreams, or will now. We study them, the work of hundreds of people. We modify them to fit the vision we have of them. We raise them to test their limits and ours. But these days are ending. It's up to us to keep them alive, to be voices of a passion that activates a spark within the depth of our souls. Obviously, it's a very expensive spark, but it doesn't have to be. Stop and look at that car on the street. Buy that car model that makes you feel a kid again. Play some simulator or arcade racing. Go to a car meet, even if you have nothing to show. Enjoy a cold soda while watching a YouTube video of some crazy build. Or make YouTube videos like yours truly, hoping to quench a thirst that isn't easy to satisfy.
Someone cooked here.
Perhaps one day before it's too late. Alright, that's all I have for today. It was quite the nightmare to put this video together because the Pandora box wasn't easy to analyze, but I'm glad I did, to the best of my capabilities and knowledge. What about you? Have you had some experiences with these two markets? If you enjoyed the video, please like and subscribe, share it around if you want, let me know what can be improved for next time. This was the Italian with the Hawaiian, DB, and I wish you all good night.